I bet you clicked on this video for no other reason than to see Randy Johnson obliterate a bird with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. I'm gonna need you to lock in because there are way more incidents of pitchers tossing a 5-ounce projectile somewhere it should not have gone. Like into a freaking car. Yeah. MLB pitchers hitting things they weren't supposed to is coming up right now. Randy Johnson kills a bird. What's the last thing that went through this bird's head? A baseball. It's March 24th, 2001. In a meaningless spring training game, Randy Johnson is pitching in the 7th inning, presumably just to fine-tune his delivery before the regular season. At this point in his career, Johnson has already won 3 Cy Youngs, including back-to-back awards in the 2 prior seasons. Facing Calvin Murray, Johnson reared back and a very unfortunate bird placed himself squarely in the middle of the fuck around, find out chart.
That there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out.
Let's listen to Johnson talk about the incident with Pat McAfee.
That bird is obviously no longer with us. And what is the first thing that goes through your mind as that bird kind of gets destroyed with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball?
It kind of caught everybody off guard. I'm like, what was that just happened? And then the impact of the pitch pushed the bird over to the on-deck circle, and Jeff Kent, who was on deck, picked it up. And I think at that time, everybody, myself, all the players, everybody in the stands, if you didn't realize what happened then, you did when he was holding up what was left of the bird.
If we look at Google Maps, let's assume the bird was struck about right here and that the on-deck circle is about here, meaning that what was left of the bird traveled 60 feet from where it was struck. For the bird to be flying perpendicular to the mound and then end up over by the on-deck circle is just absurd. Jake Savicki would be happy to know that the pitch was called a ball.
Ball.
Experts believe the type of bird Johnson hit was a mourning dove, spelled mourning, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. Poor buddy was probably foraging for some seeds when it got blown open like my colon after Taco Bell at 2 a.m. Fun fact, Calvin Murray, the guy at the plate, is Kyler Murray's uncle. A lot of connections here. The bird exploding turned out to be a good omen as the D-backs would go on to win the World Series that season, and Johnson won the Cy Young. Again, his 3rd straight. Randy Johnson would go on to win 300 games, throw a perfect game, log over 4,800 strikeouts, and get elected to the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. However, this is what everyone remembers him for. But did you know Randy Johnson wasn't the only MLB pitcher to hit a bird? Zach Gallen does it too. 22 years later, Diamondbacks pitcher Zach Gallen was warming up in the outfield prior to a May 16th game in the Oakland Coliseum versus the then Oakland A's. He threw a curveball and hit a bird right in its bird face. The bird did not survive. Though not in a game, a lot of overlap from Randy Johnson flew into the picture as the 2 birds of a feather shared in being one of the few people to strike and kill a bird while playing baseball. Dave Winfield also did it once, but he was an outfielder. Killing the bird was also a good omen as Gallen had one of the best seasons of his career, going 17-9 with the 3.47 ERA, making the All-Star team and finishing 3rd in the NL Cy Young vote. The Diamondbacks also went on to the World Series as well, which they unfortunately lost. So what do I gotta do to get Kodai Senga to hit a bird? Okay, this one's been done to death. What about other objects pitchers have hit? But before we get into that, let's get in a quick word from our sponsor. Gotta pay some bills. Let me guess, it's June, and just like my kids, you haven't given a lick of thought about what to get your dad for Father's Day. Well, I got 2 things for you. Number 1, be grateful that you still have your dad. And number 2, Manscaped has you covered. The Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is the premier face shaver for your dad who is probably sick of buying disposable razors. With its skin-safe 4-blade foil shaver, it allows you to get an extremely close shave without having to bust out messy shaving cream or get that nasty razor burn. With the Flex Adjust technology, the blades pivot and adjust to your face, and you can lock the blade in place to give you the ultimate close finish. It's waterproof, has 75 minutes of runtime and 1 charge, and also has travel lock. This is the perfect face shaver for dear old dad. So after this video, become your dad's favorite and make him one of the 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Head on over to manscaped.com/5-points to get 15% off and free international shipping. Again, that's manscaped.com/5-points from the link below or pin comment to get 15% off and free shipping. Happy Father's Day. Back to the video. AJ Bernett hits a truck. So a bird flying into the field of play kind of makes sense, but what the hell is a truck doing out there? And why was it hit by a freaking baseball? September 7th, 2001, same year that Randy Johnson pink misted that bird. AJ Bernett is warming up in between innings at the old Joe Robbie Stadium, aka Hard Rock Stadium, aka Landshark Stadium, aka Miami Gardens. For some reason, Billy the Marlins mascot, is riding around the field in what looks like a Toyota truck. I think that's a Toyota. Looks like a Toyota. Bernett, who was getting loose, likely was trying to mess with Billy and must have been having a bad control day as he missed pretty badly, shattering the back window of the cab and spreading glass all over the field. Angel Hernandez called that a strike.
2-2. You have got to be kidding me.
Bernett later admitted he was indeed aiming at the truck and the ball just slipped. He also didn't like that the truck gallivanted around during his warm-ups. That was not a good omen for AJ, who lost the game 6-1 and had to play for the 2001 Marlins. Okay, let's take a quick aside from big leaguers hitting objects to one of the most hilarious rituals in sports, celebrity first pitches. Shit is about to get real. Let's start with Jordan Leandre, who has a unique connection to Fenway Park and to this guy's balls. When Leandre was 7 years old, he was fighting cancer and sang the national anthem at Fenway. 9 years later, after beating cancer, Jordan was chosen to throw out the first pitch before a 2017 contest versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Two balls, one strike. Also, how savage was the organist? Photographer Tony Capobianco was the victim of the nut shot, which surely raised his voice a few octaves as he yelled, "What the fuck?" I don't see how that is worse than this one though, as prior to a White Sox-Royals game in 2019 in Chicago, this woman's ceremonial first pitch makes 50 Cent's effort looks serviceable. Yeah, how the F do you hit the cameraman from that close? Even worse, she doesn't even check on bro, just laughs and celebrates her terrible pitch with a player. I wasn't able to identify her or what she was doing, but she's probably in witness protection after that outing. One more for you to pull it full circle. 4 years prior versus the White Sox, of course, lifelong Mets fan Gary Green got the opportunity to throw out the first pitch at Citi Field. Green missed badly and then broke the protective glass in front of the camera, giving us this shot. Hey, Baba Booey and Hawk to a Girl, eat your hearts out. That was terrible. Back to the professionals. Here's another MLB pitcher who didn't hit anything with a thrown ball, just, chucked it as far as he could. After giving up a 2-run single in a 2019 game against the Royals, Trevor Bauer was not happy either with himself or being taken out or whatever was going on in his head, so he ends up chucking the ball out of the park from the mound. It was the bottom of the 5th, and Bauer had just given up 8 runs, so his day was definitely over. I don't see where the ball lands, but luckily there's no people over the batter's eye in Kansas City. But even if it just barely went over the fence, that's still at least a 367-foot throw, and my guess is that it probably went about 375. Bauer apologized after the game for his actions. Okay, let's close this video out. I think one of the more underrated and ironic things happening on a baseball diamond is when pitchers have to field, especially when they have to throw it. In 2012, after a masterful game with the Cubs leading 8-0, Matt Garza got weak contact, which you think would end the game and give him a complete game shutout. Instead, he sailed it into the stands like it was a bird escaping its cage. See what I did there? Garza was then pulled and Sean Camp came in and got the last out, preserving the 8-0 win. Garza only had 4 shutouts in his 12-year career, so that throw cost him 20% of his lifetime shutout output. It's hilarious to me that guys who make a shit ton of money to throw a baseball into a tiny box can't throw the very same baseball when they are off of that slab of dirt and need to get an out. All right, let's end this video with the worst wild pitch I have ever seen. This is the Nuke LaLoosh portion of the video. In 2007, former Nat Matt Chico somehow managed to throw the ball into the stands from the mound in a game versus the Marlins. Now that is quite an accomplishment, considering he was aiming for the catcher's mitt. The Marlins won the game 9-3. Chico only went 4.2 innings and gave up 5 earned runs in taking the L. Yeah, he didn't have it that day. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. If you want to watch MLB Stadium objects being hit by batted baseballs, I did a video about that too. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video. And please subscribe. I make interesting videos on sports. Please subscribe.